Good afternoon. Mr. Joseph Napier Sr. is a 1981 South High School and Choffin Career and Technical Center graduate. While attending Choffin, he completed a 2-year program in welding. After graduation, he entered service in the U.S. Army, in which he served 4 years active duty and 3 years as an inactive reservist. He later served in the U.S. Navy as a Navy Seabee for 3 years. Thereafter, he attended Harding Business College, where he received Ohio Peace Officer training. Mr. Napier is a videographer, producer, hand drummer, film narrator, and a Youngstown historian and enthusiast. He has produced numerous short films and has currently filmed project highlights on Youngstown's first African-American firefighter, Jesse L. Carter. His collection of short films are on YouTube under username Nape1962. He serves as a deacon and is head of security at his local church. He also is a civil rights leader and a member of the NAACP. His topic today is stepping into your future. Let's give a round of applause for Mr. Joseph Napier.
I'm a tall guy, so I need to pull that out. Hello, Choffin career and technical students. It is my honor to be here 35 years later. I used to grace these hallways as a welding student back during the 79, 80, 80, 81 school years. During the 2 years I was here, I had a lot of diversity, and that's one of the reasons why I chose to come to Choffin Career Center, because I knew I was going to get diversity. Back in the 80s, the Youngstown public school system had 6 high schools. And then when you add Mooney and Cheney in there, if you will, I mean rather Ursuline and Cheney, then we had 8 high schools back then. So I knew that once I would walk through these doors, I would experience a lot of diversity. Meeting not only a lot of teachers other than at my home school, but I would have the opportunity to meet students from all over the city, and I jumped on it. I promised myself also when I came in here that I would just take the opportunity just to walk around a little bit. Because it's been 35 years since I've been here. Because I'm a graduate, as she mentioned before, 1981. Coming back in here is a homecoming for me. It just warms my heart to see that this technical institution of training and higher learning is still standing here in the city of Youngstown. Before I go any further, I'd like to thank the guidance counselor personally, Ms. Scott, for inviting me to come here today. Thank you very much for the opportunity. And also, I would like to take this opportunity to publicly congratulate my son, Joseph Napier Jr., who's here filming today. He's going to be graduating in a few days from Kent State University. Well done, son. I'm proud of you. As I promised earlier, when I came through the doors and you're helping me fulfill that promise, I say I'll take a few steps around the old place, the old digs. It's not changed a lot. It's basically still the same. But nevertheless, I have to pose a question. How many of you here, students and parents, remember when you were a little lad, you were a little kid, an adult came up to you one day and said, "What do you want to be when you grow up?" Just show of hands. Anybody ever approached you when you were little? You know, the first time somebody came up to me and asked that question, I think I was around 5 years old. I said, my God, I'm worried about what I'm going to eat for dinner. And they're asking me the question, what do I want to be when I grow up? Really? So I was in such shock from the question, I did not answer the question. I remember, I just didn't answer it. And probably it was a couple years later, when I was about 6 or 7, around in there, I had another adult, here they came again, asking me the question, what do you want to be, young man, when you grow up? Now this time, I felt obligated that I had to give a response, because the first time, remember, I didn't say anything. So I said, the old standing question for some folks around my age or older can identify with this one. A firefighter? I gave them something at least. I didn't want to be a firefighter. There again, I didn't know what I was going to be when I grew up. I thought it was an unfair question. But the reason why the adults in my life were asking me that question is because they wanted me to think about it. By the time, and I'm going to take a few more steps here, when I got to the 9th grade, it all became real to me because I realized that I had to accumulate credits. I said, oh my God, they're not talking about a credit card. They're talking about credits. I have to, okay. In 4 years, I got to have enough credits to graduate from high school. I think back then it was around 17. But nevertheless, I started my march in 9th grade. Started walking around the school, the campus, and I started asking myself now the question, what am I going to be when I grow up? This thing is for real now. I said, in 4 years, I got to launch. So I got to do something. I said, well, you know, I grew up in Youngstown. I remember this institution on the city's northeast side that was built in the early 70s, Choffin Career Center. I literally watched the bulldozers build this building. And in the back of my mind, I said, boy, wow, it would really be a treat to go there someday. So fast forward, when I got in high school, or junior high at this point, and had to make that decision, what am I going to be when I grow up? I need credits, got to have enough to graduate with. I chose Choffin, or Choffin chose me, baby. Because for me, it memorialized an opportunity to be something bigger than myself. Way beyond the doors of my own home high school, I said, you know what, if I get ready now and start to run this race, by the time I become a high school senior, I'm going to be ahead of the game. You know what? That's true. If you're thinking like that, you've already thought about what you're going to be when you grow up. Because life speeds by at 50 miles an hour, or maybe faster for some folks. I speed a little sometimes. But here it is. 35 years later, I posed the question to myself. He said, and I asked myself, I said, you know what? I remember them asking me that question. And here it is. I guess I'm here now. But along that journey, I had many, many jobs. I did not become a welder once I left Choffin, and that's what I had taught, or was taught and learned here at Choffin. But nevertheless, it gave me time to further think down the road, what do I want to be when I grow up? So you know what, I had a summer job lined up. You know, I worked for the Salvation Army. I got an opportunity to work with kids. I never thought I'd work with little ones a lot shorter than me. But I was given an opportunity to work with young folk. And the parents had trusted the kids to be with me for 6 hours at a summer program sponsored by the Salvation Army. A lot of people have seen the Salvation Army in passing. But nevertheless, that was an opportunity. That was another step I took in life. And after that program ended, I had to really seriously think about a vocation. When am I going to actually, I need to do something to make some real money. Because, you know, summer jobs only pay you so much. So I said, why not the U.S. military? Because there wasn't a lot of opportunities back there in the early 80s for a guy like me to be able to just jump in something and saddle it and be successful immediately. Life is not like that. As I continued to take footsteps, I did the 4 years in the United States Army. I got out with a tag called Inactive Reserve. And what that meant during that 3-year period, they could call me back in. Hey, buddy, we're starting a war. Remember, you're under contract. Come on back in, whether I wanted to or not. So I continued to take some footsteps. I'm going to walk this way now. Continue to take footsteps in my life, and after I ended that 3-year obligation, you know, I went in as a cook. And I said, I don't really like culinary arts that much anymore. What am I going to do next? What is my next life challenge? So I actually went down into the Navy. Did 3 years in the Navy, went back as a cook. Said, because I already know that. Did that, but it gave me further life experience on exactly what I was going to be when I grew up and where my destination would end up being. So I did that, and I came out and said, I'm really, really tired of this thing called culinary arts. I don't really like making muffins and frying up steaks and stuff. It gets kind of old. At least it got old to me. So I continued to take footsteps down that road, down that pathway. And then I came across another opportunity. I said, you know what? Harding Business College is another opportunity to make your life grander and do it bigger than where you've done it before. So I said, take out a student loan, go there, and see what happens. So I went there. It was like $3,500, I think, back then. For me, it was one giant step for man, as far as I'm concerned. It was a giant leak, and I said, man, I'm going to owe this when I get done. I ain't never owed nobody nothing. So I said, well, I got to do it. Went there, attended Ohio Peace Officers training, went every single day, because I was spending my money now. And didn't miss a single day, got on honor roll, whole 9 yards. I said, man, you're an outstanding student. Mr. Napier, we don't think you miss one single day. I said, you're right, because I'm paying for it. So I did that, was able to complete that program, and then a state institution was being built in Trumbull County, and I eyeballed that, and I said, what do I have to do when I get there? Or what does it take, rather, for me to get there? And so I went to Harding. I didn't waste my time. I took that Ohio Peace Officer training, worked a little bit of community corrections, did that, and then behold, 3 years later, the institution opened its front doors, and I was one of the first applicants, and I was one of the first ones hired. So here it is, 24 years later, now I'm really telling my age, but I continued to take footsteps along the path. I saw others fail, fall, and regrettably, some of the people that I started my kindergarten year with did not make it to the high school stage, not because they did not try, because they were no longer living. So that's a life experience, and as I continue to walk along that road and saw people who gave up, a few here and there, I just literally stepped over them and kept moving forward because I had a vision, I had a dream, and now I realize what they meant about a dream. What is a dream? A dream is really a goal that takes a lot of years to get there, but it's achievable. But you got to keep your eyes forward down that pathway, keep stepping forward to the finish line to get to the destination and say, you know what, I'm going to be somebody. I want to prove my community, and I want to prove my parents right, and that they have a lot of hope for me. And I say, you know what? He's going to do a lot when he grows up. He's got a lot of potential. You know, he listens, he sits up straight, you know, he takes it all in. So I continue to take more steps in my life and venture and go places and do things that I never thought I would ever do. And today is one of those things. Today is officially, well, I'll let you guys in on a little secret. This is the very first time in my life I've done public speaking. But I said if I talk about myself, it might be a little bit more easier. But what's making it easier is that when I would get off the, back then it was the WRTA school bus, and then we would come up the hill, we would walk from downtown, we would come up the hill. I would come into this auditorium much like you guys did during that transitional period from your home school and sit around and just imagine what it would be like in 2 years once I completed the program. Where would my life take me? So nevertheless, I continued to take steps.